Hello and welcome to Metal Vice, the podcast where we talk about all things music.
Well, the things we care about.
That's right, which is mainly metal music and live music. I'm one of your hosts, Brian, joined with your other host,
Karen. And what are we talking about today, Brian?
We're going to be talking about Dead Company. So
Brian's going to talk for an hour, and I'm going to sit here and just nod my head.
You'll have questions, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Yeah, not metal music, but live music for sure. Dead Company, yeah, awesome. But primarily, we'll talk about like sort of my whole history going through getting into them and whatnot. But I think we're going to spend a lot of time talking about the last show I just saw, which was at the Sphere. Or just Sphere. It's called Sphere in Vegas.
Everybody says the Sphere, so.
They do, and I've been thinking a lot on that, because I know when I told you that, you're like, that's stupid. It should just be the Sphere, right? But when I think about it...
We say the Vic, the Aragon,
okay,
the Rave.
Where do you go to see Cubs games?
Wrigley.
The Wrigley Field. I think it's different, though, when you have like that other like, adjective at the end that describes it a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just Sphere is weird. Sphere.
That's true, because we only say like Chicago Theater.
Right, yep.
Yeah, interesting. I've never thought about it that way, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I agree. When I first learned that it's called just Sphere, I was like, that's kind of weird. If you don't know anything about this, it's a fucking massive, awesome fucking venue in Vegas. It's a sphere, just what the name says it is, with exterior lights where like just this high resolution images are played on it like all the time. And the same thing is then inside as well. You go inside and it's just this dome that is like 360 degrees almost of just pure video monitors, and like the resolution and the shit you can do with this is so fucking cool. And we'll talk more on that a little bit here in a little bit. But just going through a brief sort of history for me and Dead & Company, back in 2019, a coworker of mine, Jim, who happened to be my boss at one point in time as well, but I don't think at this time he was. Like,
no, I don't think so. I think he had moved on, or you had moved to a different
I bounced around a few different teams, yeah. But I think he was still at the company. And he just like told me one day, like, I can't remember how this happened, but somehow he's like, hey, I have an extra ticket to see Grateful Dead. Not Grateful Dead, Dead & Company at Wrigley Field. Would you like to go? I was like, I know of the Grateful Dead. I know of Dead & Company a little bit. Like I said, I know of them by name. The music, I don't know anything about it. Sure, why not? I've never been to a show at Wrigley. It sounds like a fun experience. Let's just go and check it out. And Jim is much more of a Deadhead than I am, I would say. He's been going to shows since the year I was born, like the month before I was born.
Longer than you've been alive.
That came up while we were at the show. He thought his first show was the day I was born, but it was a month before to the day.
That's so funny. That has to be weird for him to be like, I'm that much older than you.
I don't know. Whatever. I mean, we have friends like that as well.
Oh, we do, yeah.
But
most of our friends are older than us.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went to Wrigley, and it was just an unbelievable great time. It was 2019. It was the second show at Wrigley. I just tried to pull it up on Nugs, because the Nugs has a bunch of past Dead shows on them. They have the 14th, but not the 15th, which is the show I went to. Oh. Which really sucks.
Wait, which one? It must have been the other year then. Because you can see you walking through.
No, that's the one.
Oh. They don't have that on there anymore?
They don't anymore. Oh. It used to be up there. But you would see us walking down at the very beginning trying to find our spots. I had like this purple sweater going on because it was like raining that day.
Yeah.
Getting into Wrigley was a pain in the ass. Getting our wristbands was sort of a pain in the ass. It was just a clusterfuck a little bit. We took edibles before going in. We went to a restaurant beforehand. That was my first time ever taking edibles at a concert show, and maybe even my first time taking edibles
probably ever. Yeah, probably ever.
And I definitely felt it kick in. I remember when it kicked in, because people had like blown up balloons. They were passing like the beach ball balloons type things around. And I remember like coming at me and it's falling. I'm like, I need to hit that so it doesn't hit the ground. And I'm like, I'm watching it. And it's like, I got to hit this. And it hits the ground. And then I just sit there and stare at it for a few moments. I was like, well, now I have to pick this up and throw it. Okay, I'll pick this up. And I stick my hands out and I start to bend down, and somebody else picks it up and they bounce it back in. And then I was like, stood up and kind of looked around. I was like, this is fucking weird. I've never felt this way before. But the overall experience with Jim and his friends, and just seeing the show at Wrigley was just so fucking amazing. And it's definitely one of my like favorite shows of all time because of that Wrigley connection and going on the field and standing on the field as like a Cubs fan. It was just such a great fucking time. And I was like, I'm gonna go again. So 2020 rolls around, we buy tickets, a whole group of us are going again, but COVID happens, that show gets canceled. Bummer. 2021 rolls around, we had Knotfest Iowa tickets that weekend.
Yeah.
So we didn't go. Jim went with some other friends of ours. I think
You
he
would
took
have
his
had
daughter.
a better time there.
I think I would have, yeah. I mean, we did a whole episode on Knotfest and the fucking bullshit that was. This would have been a blast.
Oh, well, we have a story to tell now.
Yeah, everybody does. Like Jim went and he has stories he tells from this all the time as well. Like it's awesome. Our friend Alexi went for the first time as well. And we tried to get him to go back to the other shows. He's like, no. He was like me. He didn't know anything about the band, didn't know anything about the culture or anything like that. And just like, I want to go experience it. And then we tried to get him to go back. He's like, I don't like the music. The people are fine. It was a fun experience. I'm glad I did it, but I don't need to do it again. I need to go try other things, which is great. I fell in love with it and want to keep going back. However, I don't really listen to the music all that much outside of the live shows that I go to.
Yeah.
I have more and more recently, especially leading up to the Sphere show. I would watch old Nug shows. Primarily, I don't listen to like albums at all. We have a couple albums. But really I don't, unless I'm at the show or I go to see like a movie event with Dead, like Grateful Dead, then I'll watch it and listen to the music. But otherwise I don't like listen to the music just in the background like I do a lot of other shit, right? Yeah. Anyway, 2021 missed that. 2022 rolls around, got tickets for both Wrigley shows, went to those. It was a blast. New group of people that were there that we've never seen, or I've never seen at the shows before. Just so much fun. And then 2023 as well.
Was that the last one that they did?
That was their final tour, 2023, and that was at Wrigley again. Went and enjoyed both of those shows. Same thing. New people that had joined the group or didn't go to the previous shows that I had attended. But, talking to them about their past experiences and shows they've been to. They've been going to shows with Jim for fucking ever as well. Just like, I can't make it this year, but I'll go next year type thing. And I don't know, it's so much fun. And such a small group because you meet so many other people that you've seen at other shows. You meet people that, like, there's a connection. Like, can't remember exactly what the connection is, but Jim met somebody who knew a friend of his or something like that. There's a wedding connection there. Somehow somebody was the best man at one of their weddings. I can't remember all of that. And we met this guy because we were standing out on Gallagher Way, and this guy comes up to Jim and he's like, I've never seen that tour shirt before. That's awesome. And Jim kind of goes through the spiel how he got that. Then we're in on the ground, and this kid, the same guy, walks up like, oh, Dad, this is the guy I was telling you about. And then it started rolling like, oh, they live in the same fucking neighborhood, essentially, here in Chicago. Just those small world connections that we see all the time when we go to shows as well, right? And talk to people, which was just a fucking blast. So I've always enjoyed going to the Dead shows. And when they said last year that they're done, they're not going to tour anymore, part of me was like, fuck, that kind of sucks. I really enjoyed this. This is fun. Even though I don't know the music by heart, I'm not singing, I have fun. I dance a little bit. It's just such a good time. The crowd's awesome. All of it is just such a great time for me. I have so much fun.
What's the chatter level?
It's the same as every concert, honestly. Like, anymore, you're going to get that no matter where you go.
Yeah.
So.
You sent me a clip, and all I can hear is people talking. And I'm like, oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But also, I don't listen to Dead music, but it's quiet. Like, it's a lot of instrumental, and if there is singing, it's quiet singing. It's like you can just hear the chatter so much more. I know people talk a lot at concerts, but I think when the music's quieter, even in a metal show, like if it's a quieter song or a slower song, like it's really fucking annoying because you can hear the chatter a lot more than when it's heavy and loud. Yeah,
I noticed that too, especially at the Sphere, where when they're sort of just riffing and playing off each other and just jamming, you hear a lot more chatter then. But then when the chorus kicks in and everybody knows the song and everybody's singing the song lyrics, the crowd is fucking loud and they're having a blast and you're not hearing as much chatter then. But
That's because they're busy singing.
Yes.
But they should shut the fuck up while they're playing.
I agree, because I mean that's my favorite part is when they're jamming. That's what I enjoy the most.
Yeah. I've never been, but I just know from the clips that you sent me.
There's a segment they always do in their sets in the second set, Drums in Space, where it's fucking awesome. Very trippy. The visuals are super trippy. It's like so many different types of drums, and they're all just up there like beating the shit out of the drums and it's working together, making weird fucking sounds, and just it flows so good. And I love that part so much. But I think a lot of people, it's not necessarily their favorite part of the set, and you'll see a lot of people sort of use this as a second intermission, and they'll start leaving to go to the bathroom, leaving to go get beers and shit, and chattering a little bit more, which is frustrating. I sort of learned at this show anyway, just to like ignore it and say fuck it, whatever, and try to like get past it. So I definitely did that more here than I have in past shows. I think before I went to this, we went to Baroness at the House of Blues, and that chatter level was fucking insanely horrible, and it was pissing me off like nonstop.
Yeah.
But we ended up moving and it got a little better, but I remember the chatter there pissing me off. Here it didn't bug me as much. There were a few moments where it bugged me, but mostly not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So we're not very descriptive on audiences. A lot of times we just say it was fucking awesome or they were fucking awesome sort of thing. But when you say the crowd is fucking awesome at a Dead show, what do you mean compared to a metal show?
All right. So I was going to bring this up too at some point. After the first show, we got dinner at a bar. We found a couple spots, and there was a couple sitting there. They were at the night one show as well. We were talking to them a bit, and I can't remember how it came up, but I started talking about I like metal, talking about going on the Headbangers boat and how awesome that is. And they wanted to like, why is it so cool? Why do you enjoy that so much? Maybe was this the best show of your life? And I was like, maybe not. Maybe Headbangers boat is probably and going through that whole spiel. And they're like I wouldn't say an older couple, maybe 50s, early 60s, but they retired and they're like traveling the country, going to concerts. That's all they do now. Just go to
can't wait.
Right. Yeah. That's like the perfect fucking life.
Okay. So 35 years from now, let's get going.
I was a little out of it, so that could be way off on these ages, and I'm sorry. But anyway, and the conversation,
50s, 60s and just traveling sounds about right.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was late in the evening and I was not all with it. So I'm trying to remember everything here. But talking to them about that, and then they're like, oh, we go on Groove Cruise all the time, which is apparently like a very similar type cruise, but with like more Dead type music, Fish type music.
Yeah, we watched like a YouTube or a documentary or something about the Groove Cruise.
Was that the EDM one?
No, it's the one that starts out with like the couple who's like exercising 3 hours a day. No, that was the Groove Cruise.
That's the Groove Cruise?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
So it's just, I guess there was some EDM music. So there was like a DJ.
Oh, that's all that is EDM, is how I took it. That whole cruise is like EDM shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, okay. I thought it was more like Grateful Dead type. Like,
no.
We're going to groove and just like chill out type shit.
It's.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't remember the music. I just remember like the whole documentary was about like the. Like 3 couples that went, or 3 people that went, or whatever.
Yeah, it was a bit of, it was
and
going through the whole thing.
That one bartender, or waitress, whatever you want to call her, and like how she like takes care of the VIP people and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot with that. I remember that now. Okay, I did not think that was called Groove Cruise. I was thinking something completely different.
No, that's what it was. So that's kind of weird to see like 60-year-olds going on that.
Shit, okay. And again, I could be way off. They could be like in their early 40s, mid 40s or some shit too.
But I mean, that would be kind of like Headbanger Boat, just a different type of music.
For sure, yeah. And that's what I was trying to explain to them. They were saying the exact same thing, just like iterating on that. The question of how's the audience different? And I think the statement I told them was something along the lines of like, hippies and metalheads are the same motherfuckers. They're the exact same fucking people. The crowds are the exact same. They are 100% the same.
I've heard different. I mean, I don't spend time with hippies, but I've heard that. No, I've heard that hippies are assholes.
No, they're not. Like, it's everybody's there to enjoy the music, have a good time. They're super respectful of each other. They're super respectful of the arena.
Okay, so like the family part is
there.
Exactly.
Okay,
that makes sense. But I've honestly heard that. Like,
I have too, and I don't get it because there's that whole Instagram thing of like say the weird thing out loud, and the guy's like, hippies are nice people or mean people dressed as nice people, and metalheads are
Yes, that's what I saw. Yeah.
Nice people cosplaying as mean people or something along those lines.
Basically, yeah.
But like, it makes me laugh when I see that and like, haha, that's funny. But like, every experience I've had at like a Dead show with a bunch of hippies and shit is not that way.
And everybody, I mean, there are probably mean metalheads too.
Oh, for sure, yeah, we've seen them. There's like everybody, like we have our metalhead community, and our community is what it is, and you still have those assholes that are in your community.
Yeah.
Like a family has the black sheep, the people that, oh fuck, they're gonna be here at this event. God damn it, why is Uncle Steve here? This is bullshit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, I know what I mean.
But the community aspect, they're here to enjoy the music, they're respectful of each other, the venue, the staff, like every aspect of it is the exact same. Your music tempo is just a little, metalheads have faster tempo, really, is what it boils down to in my mind.
Yeah.
But we've also been to concerts and like places and talked to the staff as well. And like, what do you enjoy? They're like, metalheads are the best. What's your least favorite? Country. Every time it's fucking country. So, again, I'm still standing by it. Hippies and metalheads, same motherfuckers. Just we don't, for some reason, like each other's music that often, which is weird to me. It's very similar, but one's a little faster, and you got the screamy aspects as well. So
not all metal music's screamy.
No, I know it's not, but that's what you all like. Your mind goes to, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the Sphere then. We always do this with an episode. We'll do it here as well, where we talk about like ticket prices, right?
Well, yours is skewed because
it is skewed, right? Because we did the hotel package.
Yeah. For 2 people in a room or 4 people in a room?
We did the 2 queen bedroom suite at the Venetian, that whatever package that was. GA tickets. We didn't do the upgraded VIP experience, just like the basic GA experience with the hotel package. 2 queen beds and a ticket for each show that weekend, which was Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, so 3 shows.
6 tickets total, 3 per person.
Yeah.
But...
And this is for just you.
I took the price and divided by 2.
Well, I didn't go, so...
You did not, right?
Yeah.
Tickets alone, though, for this particular package for 3 GA tickets was $2,407.86 with a fee of $242.83 in fees. No tax was listed, I don't think.
No, I think you pay that when you show up to the hotel.
Yeah, probably. You do have to do like the hotel. That doesn't include the hotel resort fee, which was added on top of it.
All that stuff that Vegas makes you do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that wasn't there.
Yeah. So it's kind of pricey, but when you think about it, like, I mean, you got hotel for 5 nights.
Yeah, because we flew in Thursday. We did the Thursday check-in, Monday check-out.
4 nights, sorry.
So we flew in. It was, I can't remember what time we got there about 1:20, and that was with like an hour and a half delay or so leaving Chicago because of weather. But yeah, we flew in at 1:30, checked in. Check-in was at 3, but by the time we got our bags, got to the hotel, went through like sort of the zigzaggy line to check in because there were so many fuckers checking in. It was actually like right at 3 when we got our name like pulled up there. Got a room, dropped our shit off. Went to Walgreens right away because, well, for a few reasons. We wanted cheaper alcohol in the room, cheaper snacks in the room. Also, we needed to get a cooler because they have weights on the fridge and in the snack bin on both of them, according to the sign I read.
So if you touch them, you get charged.
And she told us that when we checked in. She's like, "Don't touch anything, or you will be charged." And Jim's like, "Can we move things around to put our stuff in?" And she's like, "No, if you touch it, you will be charged." So like, okay. So the Walgreens, like right next door to us, had little coolers, like the styrofoam coolers you can buy. So we bought one of those, a couple beers, and like some pretzels and shit to snack on in the room. Beer prices there weren't bad. I got like a 6-pack of Tall Boys for like $14, which is, to me, insane because you buy a 12-pack of just like 6-ounce cans here, or 12-ounce cans.
Yeah, 6 ounces.
It's like $12, $13 here in the city for like Rev, right?
Yeah.
So that's cheaper in my mind to get tall boys for like $1 more.
Yeah.
So I was actually kind of blown away by those prices. Like, this isn't all that bad. I expected it to be outrageous. Inside the casino is a different story, and inside the venue is a little different.
Yeah, I
as
was
well.
gonna say not really the casino if you go to the bar in the casino, but otherwise, I mean, you could get the girl that walks around
As long as you're gambling.
if you're gambling. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we wandered around trying to find some food. We had a couple hours before the walkway between the Venetian and the Sphere opened. And there's like a restaurant row thing there that we went to, stopped at a few restaurants. And the first one we started at, I think was like Yard House or something like that.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, they have it here in Chicago, right?
They used to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Closed,
thought.
yeah.
Or was that Yard Bird?
No, Yard House.
Okay, that's what I thought. Not quite the same thing, but
Oh.
very similar. Maybe just like an offshoot or something, I don't know. But we stopped in and asked them, and this was probably like 4:30 or something. They're like, hey, do you have any tables, or when do you have a table open? It's like, do you have a reservation? Nope. All right, well, we're not seating anybody until 8 p.m. And we're like, no, we'll skip this. Asked a few other restaurants. They were all super fucking busy. We didn't make reservations or anything. And then we kind of just like looked at each other and were like, there's food in the venue, right? Let's just go get concession food. Like, that will hold us over at least for now. And yeah, let's go do that. So we went and stood by the outskirts of the walkway between the Venetian and the Sphere. And there's a convention center right there that had just gotten out. So it's like a mad mix of people in a convention center walking out and all these deadheads just hanging around in like their tie-dye shirts and shit, just sort of waiting to get in. Very congested there for a little bit, kind of fun to watch. Open the door, 5:30, I think that opened, walking over to the Sphere. That opened 5:30. I think doors for the Sphere were at 6. Now, we could have walked outside to go to the Sphere and stood in line earlier, but it's Vegas and it's hot as shit, so we're going to take this air-conditioned walkway. But when we got to the end at the Sphere, we had to go outside and walk down and go stand outside anyway. But by the time we got to that, like, walked all the way over there into that door, it was basically 6 anyway. We were out there for 5 minutes or so before they let us in. And yeah, we went in, got our wristbands, and found our spot on the floor. Now, when you walk into the floor, you walk like straight ahead at the Sphere. I guess taking a step back, when you're walking outside, it's really cool because you get super fucking close to the Sphere, and you can see all the little hockey puck LED lights that they have that make up the Sphere itself.
So lights, yeah.
And I watched a few videos going up into this, talking about like the design of the Sphere and how they made it. It's made by Madison Square Garden Group, who owns Madison Square Garden, the Chicago Theater here in town.
Yep.
This as well, and a few other well-known places. I think Radio City Music Hall is also theirs. I can't remember exactly, but they have a lot of like iconic buildings that they own and operate and whatnot. But the videos I was watching talked about sort of the exterior of the Sphere with those hockey puck lights, and like from a distance it looks like a screen, but as you get closer you can see them. It was really cool to get up there and close and see them and actually see how they're like constructed, and they're just like lines of these hockey pucks and whatnot going up. It's really cool to watch it from that close as well. But get inside and it's the same concept, just more condensed, smaller hockey puck type LED lights that are all sort of condensed in. And as we walked through the Sphere and got onto the floor, there's like the stage in front of you. You walk in from the back to the front. You can look around. They have all the lights on, and you can see through sort of the screen, and you see like the rafters and the construction of it, and you see like everything behind it, which is really cool to see. It was just really cool. Like, oh my God, you can actually see through it. This is going to be amazing when they turn it on. I wonder how it's going to like light up, what's going to happen. Like just like what's fucking going on here. They had cocktail waitresses on the ground as well, walking around. We got a couple drinks. We're sitting there just looking around, being in awe of the space and talking to some people as well. And after about 10, 15 minutes or so, we start looking around and looking at this closer, and we're like, this isn't actually real, is it? And we start like looking at the dimensions of things. Like the geometry just was off to me. If you looked over to your left, there was like this door that looked like it was supposed to be like you're looking down, but you're looking straight across. Like the angles of it just didn't feel right.
Okay.
And it wasn't until night 2 that we got a little closer to the screen. You can actually see, like I said, same concept as outside with the hockey pucks. You can actually see the like individual LEDs and whatnot in there as well. But some of it was actually see-through, but most of it was sort of this optical illusion type thing, which was just really cool when you first walk in. And you heard everybody say it, like, you have our windows open because it's nice out, and yet everybody's driving around with loud music. Brr.
Darn loud music.
I know. But like everybody would walk in and they'd say the same thing, like, "Oh my God, look at this! This is amazing! This is so cool! You can see through it." And like a few minutes later, wait, no, this isn't real, is it? Like the same conversation everybody had. It was a blast just to be there with the lights on, looking at this thing.
How was that a blast? Just the environment?
Sorry, I say blast interchangeably a lot. Like, it was just amazing to be there and see.
Okay. I just didn't know what else was going on, that it was a blast.
Just, like, I liked seeing all this, like, holy shit.
Okay. So you were just amazed by it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was just
No, yeah.
trying to clarify what's going on.
Yeah, no, I say blast for all the time, like, I'm having fun, and also just, like, I was having fun. That was fun looking at that. So, yeah, it was a blast. I'm going to stick by that. It was a blast.
No, that's fine.
Nothing was going on necessarily other than talking to a bunch of other people and like just experiencing it. It was just a great experience, just that in and of itself. Then the music starts, and they start with that same sort of backdrop of like the scaffolding and whatnot. And then eventually it like opens up to the city of like the streets of San Francisco and pulls up into space. And the visuals alone were just so fucking good. I went into the Sphere with a few reservations or a few things I was concerned about. One of them being, is this just going to be a gimmick? Is the visuals going to take away from the music itself? And are people going to care more about the visuals than they do the music? Because in my mind, that's reversed. You're here for the show, the music, and the visuals are just a component on top of that. And are people just going to be sitting there talking about the visuals all like nonstop? And when a new visual would happen, people would like, "Oh my God, that's so cool," but then quickly turn back to the music itself and enjoy the music. So it didn't overpower the music at all.
Oh, okay.
The other thing I was sort of concerned about, or the sort of mindset I've had, is the same with Red Rocks for me, where I feel like you need to have the right band or the right performance at a particular venue to get the full effect of the venue. Yeah, exactly. So like you can't just take Lamb of God and put them at Red Rocks.
You could.
Right?
It'd be really fucking awesome.
At least that was my mindset going into this, and seeing the Sphere, I was like, no, any band can play this venue and they're gonna fucking kill. This venue is just so fucking good. Even basic visuals alone will be fucking
just
phenomenal.
Fine. Yeah.
And it sort of changed my mind around Red Rocks as well of, all right, any band probably can play that. Like, I do still think the right band will get the most out of that.
The best feeling, yeah. It still would have been fucking cool to go see like Alma Mart there or something. Like,
but that's again where I was like, that doesn't really fit this scene in my head.
I wish we could have made it. I was excited to see it there.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, it's still
it's like Vikings, like down in the...
But that's not Vikings. Like,
why?
It's mountainous. Vikings aren't in the mountains, are they?
Oh, no, you just had to pretend it's like...
Oh, all right.
Going through like...
See, I think Meshuggah or Mastodon would be perfect.
Oh, yeah, I would too.
But again, my mindset has now changed since then of being like, okay, it does help, but a venue's a venue. You're there for the music, and the venue just sort of adds on top of it.
Or takes away.
Or can take away, yes. but the music is the main thing you're there for. And yeah, I think I'm done with this sort of like, you have to see the right show at this place. Like, no, you need to see a show at this place. And that's sort of where I'm at now. And
I'm glad you changed their mind, because now we might have an opportunity to go to Red Rocks.
I mean, we were going to go there eventually at one point in time. It was sort of more constrained on what I was willing to go see.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The other thing that really blew me away is as we're going up into space, we're still like, you can still orbit and whatnot as you're continuing to pull away. And the International Space Station goes over us from the back to the front, like as it orbits. and the bass kicks in for that, and just boom, like the bass just hits you. It was so loud. You felt the bass as that flew over at that moment in time. And I forgot about it after night 1. Night 2, I forgot about it again. And then night 3, I was expecting it. And it wasn't as quite as powerful. It was still powerful, actually. It was awesome. Just when the bass finally kicked in.
Yeah, when you know that something's going to happen, it's a little bit different.
Right, exactly. But and then everywhere you moved around, the sound was the same at every fucking location you stood.
That's good.
Like, it was perfect sound every fucking place you went.
That's really good, because I know some venues, a lot of venues, you know, it sounds different depending on where you are. Or like if you're in a dead spot, it kind of sucks, or echoey and stuff like that.
I mean, we've talked about that too with openers, right? Openers are there to sort of work out the kinks in the sound a little bit, where their sound isn't going to be as good as the next band, and they're not going to be as good as the headliner type thing of like a normal 3-band set, right?
Yeah.
Here, it wasn't even that. As soon as they started, it was fucking perfect. Like, no adjusting. Or maybe there was some adjustment going on, but like it sounded so fucking brilliant.
How many shows have they done there, and nothing's being played in between?
That's true. Nothing. I think they might be doing like their normal shows like during the middle of the week that you can go see and whatnot.
Well, anyways.
But again, and they do sound checks and whatnot beforehand, but like the sound was just so fucking good. Like the best sounding venue I've ever been to. And as you pointed out, there are venues you go to where if you're not quite center, you're off to the left or off to the right a little bit, that the sound could be a little
Yeah.
Here, no, it was fucking perfect everywhere, and it was so good. The other thing that blew me away was the non-visual, actually. Like, there was moments during the set where they would show no visuals and sort of like queuing up and getting ready for the next song and the next sort of visuals that are coming in, and it was just pitch black, like black. The only other black I can think of is being in a cave when I was in like Boy Scouts and they turned off the lights.
Not Space Mountain when you're at Disney World?
And there's no light, and you just look around you. The stage is in front of you, and they have like the lights on the stage, and there's like the exit signs behind you and whatnot. But you look around, and it's just so dense and black. It looks like it goes on forever and ever. It was so impressive, and that really blew me away, that lack of color. And effect, really was probably the most effective effect. I guess it's really weird.
No, I get what you're saying though,
and it's hard to describe like unless you're there. Like, it was just so fucking good. And I did take some video. I'm torn if we put any video in this, or
I think you're gonna make a vlog that'll probably come out next year.
Maybe, yeah. We'll see how that turns out, how that's all gonna come together. The other aspect of it is, you know, Dead & Company does, like we said, on Nugs, they have over 120, I think, live recorded shows. And normally when they would do their tour, I think you could stream them live at the, like, simulcast them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not these ones, though.
Not these ones. They're not even, like, showing them on Nugs right now. They might be packaging up some point in the future.
Yeah,
I would assume. I don't see why they wouldn't. But they even said, like, this isn't something we're going to stream. This is something you have to experience and see. And it really is. Like, I know leading up to this, I was doing my best not to look at images from the shows. I looked at a few. I showed you a few.
I think I've seen a video of the whole opening up thing. And then you're on a street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So putting a vlog together for this is sort of like kind of defeating the purpose, because it is truly something that...
But it's not. It's your experience while you're in Vegas. I mean, it's not just... It's not like you recorded the entire Dead show.
Right.
It's more the experience of Vegas and the Sphere, and not necessarily the Dead show.
Yeah. So, yes, it is. I guess the other thing I was trying to say is it's not going to be as impressive as actually being there, which is going to be true regardless.
I thought you were just being like, well, they said that they don't want to stream it.
No. It's more of like showing you what this is, and like, but that's not really what it is.
No, I mean, I haven't seen all your videos, but I have seen a few of them, and I'm like, oh, like, you could see how fucking cool it is from it. So I think you should take the time and try to do it before June 2025.
Yeah, I'll do my best here. I'll try to throw something together and see how it comes in. We'll see what if we ever post it or not. We'll see. Again, I didn't record a whole lot.
Yeah, because you were with a friend.
I was there with a friend, and I'm really bad at recording when we do shit like that anyway. We need to get better at that.
I know. We're not vloggers.
No.
But we're also not podcasters.
No, right.
We just enjoy going to shows.
Yes. I don't know. That first night was just like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing.
When I told you, I was like, try not to record too much the first night. I don't know if you really took to that or not, or if you did, but I wanted you to really experience it and then work on recording or, stuff like that. Yeah,
I did record a decent amount the first night, but I think the first night was the night I was the most with it.
Oh, okay.
The second night a little bit. Took a few things that didn't quite hit as hard as they could have, so I was relatively sober most of the second night. But the first night, for me, the set list was just so awesome, and like so many songs I knew and I loved.
Oh, okay.
But everybody we talked to almost was... That first night was kind of lame, right?
Probably because it's all their popular stuff or something. And
then,
you're like, I knew all those songs.
That first night they also played Brown Eyed Women, and I caught myself singing for the first time without actually knowing it. Like,
yeah,
I got done singing the chorus, like, wait, what the fuck did I just say? Did I do that? Like, I was subconscious. I wasn't doing it. I was just in the moment. Yeah. And then, like, holy shit, that's the first time I've ever been to their show and done that.
That's funny.
And I remember going into this with Jim, talking to him a little bit, I think on the flight out there or something, where, and we've talked about this between you and me, I'm not a lyrics person.
No.
I like the music, and then after I listen to something like 12, 13 times, then the lyrics start to catch up and catch into me, and I start to memorize the lyrics. Jim's completely different. He's lyrics. He needs to have a story to his song, and he gravitates more towards the lyrics that way. And so, again, this is, I've been listening to him in the background at work. Saw a few shows. This is a song that's played a decent number of times. And it finally clicked with me, and I finally started singing it, and I didn't even know I was doing it at first, which was fucking awesome for me. That's funny.
Did you look at the set list for all 3 nights?
So they change it up. It's not the same.
I know. I'm asking if you looked at the set list for all 3 nights.
What do you mean, do I look at it?
Did you look at what they were playing? And when it was over, did you go back to like Setlist FM and look to see what they played all 3 nights? I
did not all 3 nights. Jim kept a pretty good log of all the shows.
Okay.
I think the first night he had a couple songs he didn't quite get, but he talked to a few people and they filled in the holes. And then I think the second and third night he was pretty on point with getting all the set list.
Okay.
But he was filling it up out as it went as well.
Okay. So my question is, did they repeat any song over the 3 nights?
I don't think they did.
Okay.
I don't think they did.
That was my question. That's why I was like, if you didn't know or look at the set list at all, you wouldn't know, probably.
Oh, true. Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, there were definitely songs I've heard each night that I remember from past shows and past listenings, but not songs that like I would know by heart by any means. The other thing that was like super fucking cool for me, the thing that I really enjoyed the most out of set 1 was in the second set, they did a cover of Dear Mr. Fantasy, which is the song that's played in Avengers, whatever the second Thanos one is, where they kill Thanos and they do the whole Infinity War type thing. It might be just Infinity War. I don't remember what one it is. But it's where they're pulling into the spaceship with Tony Stark and Nebula, and it's the song that's being played there at the beginning. Okay. And they covered that I think last year or the year before at Wrigley, and I was like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. I love that song. And I remember it always because of the Avengers. And I don't remember if they did it last time, but this time they then led from that cover into Hey Jude, which is fucking awesome. Like the crowd's getting into it, singing Hey Jude and whatnot. And
sorry, I don't know any of the lyrics except for Hey Jude.
Yeah, that's about it, right?
I don't know. I don't know the song.
Any case,
I'm probably the only person on the planet that doesn't know that song.
It's one of those ones that once it starts going, you would know it.
Maybe. I can't even hear it really.
Really?
Anyways, no. I'm like trying to think right now. I'm like, I can't think of anything else besides.
Yeah, I might cut this out because
Hey
I don't
Jude.
want to sing, but it's like na 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 na.
Oh, that's Hey Jude.
Na 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 na. Hey Jude.
Okay. Is that the whole song?
No. There's probably other lyrics to it.
I'm going to leave that in now. Brian's singing.
But
put it at the end like you do with my laugh.
there you go. But I do the end editing once you start learning to do that. Any case, but yeah, Dear Mr. Fantasy led into Hey Jude, which then led into them putting their instruments down and just the crowd singing Hey Jude, which then led into drums, which like to me that was like, holy fuck, that is so cool. Like just those 3 tracks and the transitions between them going into that. Oh, it's fucking awesome. Like drums isn't going to start until the crowd stops singing Hey Jude, and that can go on for as long as you want it to go on for, which it died out pretty quick, which is a little not frustrating, but I like that crowd interaction. The crowd participation, especially with like Metallica and The Memory Remains, right? Like the end of that, when that just drags on forever and ever and ever, is so fucking satisfying from like me and the crowd singing it and the rest of the crowd is doing it as well. But then once the crowd starts dying off, it's like, fuck, come on, let's go. Let's keep this going.
Yeah, it's true. So I always wonder, like during Creeping Death, is there like a count that they do of people screaming die before?
I think it varies. Like it can go on for as long as they want to go on for.
I just feel like sometimes it goes on like longer at some shows than other shows.
I think so. And part of it, I think, is where does it fall on the set list? How long do you have to go on?
How much time do you have? Like, where do we cut this off sort of thing?
Like the one I always listen to, the live version, is the Live Shit Binge and Purge box set kind of DVD thing, whatever.
Okay.
But that one goes on for quite a while, and James even has a little interaction in between it where he's like, we got ourselves a long, noisy night in front of us. You better start making noise now. You're singing die, die. And it goes on for a while, like a lot longer than normal. Or at least it feels like it.
Yeah.
But so, I love when it goes on longer.
So even saying this, like, if they're singing Hey Jude, because I'm guessing like you just repeat it and repeat it.
Yeah,
and repeat
you just keep doing that.
So like if the crowd didn't cut it off, like they probably have like a timing that they're like, okay, we have to start this drums solo.
Maybe, or if the crowd's just loud enough and into it enough, then like,
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna be singing Hey Jude for the next 45 minutes, and then we'll get into drums. Are you guys cool with that? Clearly you are. So, but then that led into drums again. My favorite part of a Dead set, honestly, drums in space. Earlier we did go to sort of the pop up. Jumping all over the place. Sorry, I'm just going where.
No, it's okay, because I don't think you need to go day 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, once you get the experience, it's the experience. So.
Yeah. But we went to the pop-up shop they have. So it's supposed to be like this history type thing. There's supposed to be interactive sort of exhibits you can do. They have the old VW vans that you can take photos with. All the merch was down there, so you can buy a fuck ton of merch, even past merch, like past posters, past pins. I should have gone back. Jim got a pin from, I think, one of the 2020 shows, the Wrigley Field pin. They had one of the 2019 that I should have picked up for my first show as well, but I never went back and got it.
Or you can get it online or something.
Maybe. People go apeshit for the pins and the posters, like just like they do with Metallica. Like these fans go after that shit hard, which is awesome. I get a poster every time I go. I got the Weekend poster, and we were talking about this when I got home. They had a unique Weekend poster plus unique individual show posters. And it's like, I don't have room on my walls for all this. I'm just going to get the Weekend poster.
We don't have room for everything we have.
We don't.
We need to buy a place, just a barn.
Yeah, just to hang these.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that. And it's like, well, when we see Metallica in Detroit, we got the pop-up poster plus each show poster. Right. If Metallica did a third show, we would have got that poster as well.
Exactly.
We're going to see them here in Chicago. We're going to try to get all 3 of those posters as well. And those aren't getting hung or framed in a very long time.
Right.
So it's just who you're a big fan of. And I'm more of a fan of Metallica than I am Dead. So I gravitate to that. But I do want the individual show poster, or at least the Weekend poster, which was a pretty cool poster. I liked it. I didn't get the foil. I got the foil the first year I went to see Dead. I don't like the foil posters. People love the foil, and I'm like, no, I don't like how it looks with the frame and everything. It just...
I like that poster. But
I don't.
I mean, I don't like Dead, but I like that poster.
Yeah. Anywho, what was I saying before all that?
I don't know. We were talking about the drum.
Oh, yeah. So in the pop-up shop, they had a miniature wall of sound, which is a Dead and Company thing, where not Dead and Company, Dead and Great, which is a Grateful Dead thing, which is just this massive wall of speakers that they had constructed to try to get the optimal sound, which was sort of the precursor for the speakers you see now at every fucking show you go to, where you see them up there hanging from the rafters and they're sort of like arched down.
So venues didn't have that before?
No. But no, yeah, that was sort of the precursor for like the way we have sound now. The Grateful Dead sort of pioneered it, and they were
Well, thanks, because I like it.
always seeking like to get the next and best sort of sound to the audience and whatnot, which is awesome to think about, right? They also had sort of a photo museum. You go through the history and just going through past shows and past events with the Grateful Dead. Before going to the Grateful Dead, there's a documentary, I think the other one or something like that on Netflix.
Like that's what it's called, is the other one?
I think so. I'm going to look this up as well. Yeah, the other one, A Long Strange Trip of Bob Weir.
Who's Bob Weir?
Bob Weir is the guitar player for one
okay.
of the guitar players. It was Bob Weir and it was Jerry Garcia. And Jerry Garcia passed away. Now with Dead and Company, it's John Mayer as the Jerry role, so to speak. But yeah, in this documentary, there's a part where they talk about the Grateful Dead playing in front of the pyramids in Egypt for a show in like the 60s or 70s or some shit like that.
That's weird.
And how awesome it was and how like inspirational it was for him or something like that. Part of the Sphere show was they went to Egypt and they did like the show in front of the pyramids, which was really, really cool. But no, I thought it was really cool because if I hadn't watched that documentary, I just would have been like, that's a really cool visual, because they would use the pyramids as a backdrop for...
Like you wouldn't get the connection.
Yeah, I wouldn't get the connection. So thinking like your favorite bands, reliving a connection that other, people didn't get to go see, didn't get to experience. It's not the same experience, but it's still really cool to see sort of that played in there.
Yeah.
So that was another highlight for me, definitely seeing that aspect of it. There was another... Oh, shit, I need to get back to this, sorry. Going all over the place. We're at Drums. We're at the pop-up shop. Also, at a lot of Dead shows that I've been to, actually, all of them that I've been to.
So all 5.
Yep.
Well, 8, technically.
Yeah, whatever number it's been, yeah. But they have, like, sort of a go around and fill out, like, this voter registration thing, donate to this, like, food bank or something like that. There's good charities that they're trying to promote and raise money for. They have auctions for like stage used instruments and shit like that all I think go to charity, or some proceeds of it go to charity or whatnot. So that was up there as well. Jim stopped and talked to one of the voting booths. One of the people like promoting voting and getting out and to vote and whatnot. And they were telling him about drums, and when you go to see drums, you need to lay on the ground so you get the full effect, so you can like look up at the ceiling and get the full effect of it. But that first night we were there was like no room to lay down. So we went back the next day and found her and like, you said to lay down. There's like no fucking room to lay down. She's like, oh, no, you need to go off all the way on the far sides, and there's plenty of room there. So the second night I sort of wandered around. I went up to other sections and looked around as well.
It's cool that they let you do that. Because, like, some places don't let you go up if you don't have, like, that ticket or whatever.
Yeah, I
maybe you weren't supposed to, but...
I didn't stay long. I sort of stood in the aisle for 30 seconds each section and then left. But he ended up on stage right. I ended up on stage left. And there was a lot more room, a lot more people dancing. And even during drums that night, there were people laying on the ground looking up at it and getting that experience as well. But the wandering around aspect of it the second night is really cool because I got to go to the 100 section, see what that felt like. I didn't push all the way up to the bottom of the 100. I stood all the way at the back, and there is that overhang, which really fucking sucks in that 100 section.
I saw your video, and I saw that on social media on something like, don't get the 100 section because it cuts off half of the visuals.
Yeah, it does. And if you get the very beginning, it's fine. That cutoff, though, is like the not like VIP box areas, like the
Oh,
premium
okay.
box seats that you get at some venues, which is kind of like lame and whatnot, whatever. 200, pretty good. I was at the very back as well, took a shot up, and you just had some light above you that was blocking your view, but if you went down a couple rows, it would have been perfectly fine. And then I stood at the middle between the 300 and the 400 section, and that was really cool. A little steep.
Oh, really?
But it's going to be steep at any sort of
At any event, yeah,
arena like that, right?
I remember seeing Metallica. We were in the 400 section all the way against the wall, and I did not like that very well.
Same at Soldier when we saw the Stones there.
Right.
That was very steep getting up, and we
Right.
had that back wall as well.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you've been to a large venue like this, those top sections are always going to be very steep.
And they feel weird if you stand up.
Yes, it would have felt weird standing up.
Yeah.
People were standing up. I don't know if I would have.
I personally would not have. I just remember that from Metallica. Like I did stand up during Metallica, but like we were right on the stairs as well. So I kind of stood like with my back to the wall on that stair area so that I felt like I had more room.
Yeah. But yeah, really cool. That's really about it for night one. We're not going to go through every single
Yeah, it's like, don't go through all of them.
because everything that we've
But
been
that was
through
night one
is-
and night two because you talked about like the wandering around and everything.
Yeah, and like the visuals outside, there's a few things that change here and there. Very similar as well. Some songs have, well, each night had the same visuals as opening and closing, more or less, right? Actually, 100%. But there were songs that had very particular visuals tied to those songs, and other visuals that just sort of like flowed in and out.
So you saw all 3 nights, but if you only saw one night, do you think it would be worth it, or do you need to see all 3 nights?
You can see one night. It'll be perfectly fine. I would love to go again and see more shows.
See more, yeah. I'm just thinking because like not everybody can, one, go away for that long to see all of them or afford to be.
So we ran
there
into
for all
many
of it,
people that only went to one night.
Oh, okay.
The flight out there, we were sitting there talking. We are getting ready to land. It's a little bit bumpy if we'll ride in. I was out the window. Jim was in the middle, and there's this woman next to Jim in the aisle.
You said you were going to take middle seat.
I did on the way home.
Oh, okay.
Anywho,
Like, how dare you put him in the middle?
we're rocking, and she's like, looks over and was like, I can never get over this. It's really frustrating. Not frustrating. Like, I don't like this feeling.
Just like me. Like, I don't know how many times I've flown, and if it bumps,
same thing. She was saying.
And
so we start talking to her, and she's like, "You guys going to the Dead show?" I'm like, "Yeah, we are." Her husband was on the other aisle seat right next to it. Start talking back and forth. He's got the only Dead thing he really has on is a what are these called? Belt. A belt with like the dancing bears.
What is this thing that holds my pants up?
Yeah, that thing. Rope. But a Grateful Dead belt on. It's like, oh, now we see it. 80% of the flight at least probably was going out there for Dead. But they were flying in for the one night, the one show, and then flying out the next day back here to Chicago.
Yeah. I mean, we've done that before. We're like, thinking of like S&M 2, we flew in, saw the show, flew home.
Yep. They were on the floor as well as we were. Jim actually ran into them again, which is fucking
really?
awesome.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I didn't. It would have been really cool to run back into them. There were other people on the floor who were like, no, I'm just here for the first night. And other people the next night we ran into, different people. They're like, yeah, I came last night with a bunch of friends. They went home and I stayed because this is fucking worth it. This is awesome. So to your question, you don't have to see all 3 nights. The more shows you see there, the better. Like, this venue is just so fucking awesome. And the show itself was so fucking cool. I did take a look at the set list from the next 3 shows, and there were songs they played there that they didn't even play for us, which was fucking awesome.
Like, the reason why I asked that is because like Metallica's been doing these 2-night things. One of them that we went to is the 40th, where yes, technically you don't have to go to both nights, but it makes sense to go to both nights because you played up the catalog and then down the catalog.
The way they structured that for sure was it rewarded you for going to both nights.
Yeah.
Dead has always been that way, where it's a unique set. Because the last times I've seen Dead and Company, every time they play here in Chicago, it's been 2 sets of like a Friday and a Saturday set. And every time it's a unique set list than it was the night before. And Metallica's just now starting to play around with this.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. I wish more bands would do this shit. We've talked about that a lot, seeing bands multiple times on the same tour.
Right. Because most of these bands have such a huge catalog. Like, even if you don't switch up every single song, like, you could do some unique songs or...
Even if you're a younger band with only like 2 albums, 3 albums, you can still mix it up and do a few deep cuts, or at least one deep cut. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was meaning. Sorry. I didn't explain it as well.
No, I was just reiterating on top of you. But yeah, that's 100% right. Like, and then once you get to some of the bands like Metallica, Slipknot, your catalog is so fucking deep.
Yeah.
You can play so much unique fucking cool shit. It rewards you for going to more shows. We go to more shows anyway. We'll see you multiple times because we love to go to the show. But it's the same show I saw a week ago.
Yeah.
It's the same show I saw the night before. And
right.
Give me something new, please. It'd be awesome. But also, if you're just going to give me the same old, I'll gladly eat that up too.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how many times do we see 3 Days Grace on the same tour?
Right, yeah.
Like 5 times. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
Once, I think, as a headliner, and that was just a random...
Yeah.
We had nothing to do, so we went and saw the show. But sorry, I need to justify that I'm not a huge 3 Days Grace fan.
You don't have to justify that. Like, they put on a really good show.
They do. It's just a fun show.
Exactly. I'm not going in there like trying to learn anything or be like grow as a person deep down philosophically or anything. I'm just there to have fun.
I was gonna say I'm not there to be like next to a pit or anything.
Oh, gotcha.
But the same concept.
Yeah. I don't know where we were. Getting back to Dead.
I don't know. Yeah. I asked if you needed to see all 3 shows, or if it was like you could just see one.
You could just see one, but again, it doesn't necessarily reward you. It's just so fucking awesome.
Yeah. No. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if they went together at all or something.
Another thing, going back to that Groove Cruise couple we were talking about. On the flight out there, I asked Jim about Madison Square Garden, if he'd ever seen a show there. He hasn't. He's got a whole list of venues he wants to check out, just like us. Red Rocks is on his list. Red Rocks is on our list, right? Madison Square Garden's on his list. Madison Square Garden has not really been on my list. I've had no desire to go there whatsoever.
No desire.
And it used to frustrate the fuck out of me that people would like, oh my God, I'm playing the Garden. Oh my God, the Garden. Like, people go ape shit for this venue. And I was asking Jim, like, do you know what's up with this? What the fuck's going on? And the way he described it, they've remodeled it since then, so he's not sure if it's the same way. And again, he's never been there. It's like secondhand knowledge type thing that he's picking up here. But the Garden was built above a train station, and the whole floor is sort of elevated above it. So as the band's playing and as the crowd gets going, the floor will start to sway and bounce around and move a bit and dance with you. You can like feel
Interesting.
it. And I was like, okay, that actually seems kind of cool. Groove Cruise couple is from the East Coast, from the Jersey, New York area. So I asked them, what's up with the Garden? What the fuck's up here? Like, what's so great about it? Why do people love it so much? But she probably gave me the best answer I think anybody's going to give me for this. And it was, she grew up in the New York area, and as a kid, she wasn't allowed to go to the city alone, wasn't allowed to go see concerts alone necessarily, and she lived a block from the train station. Her parents would let her go to the Garden because she'd walk to the train station a block away, take a train up, lets you out right at the Garden. You just walk straight up from the train station to your seat, and you're there at the show to see that. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of fucking sweet. If I could take a train from here way up north and the train lets you out right at the venue, like you don't even have to leave the venue, like the train station. You just walk straight up and you're at like your
like
seat.
O'Hare.
Yeah, exactly. But it's for music or sporting events or something. It's almost like Wrigley, right? Like that's kind of the appeal of Wrigley, is it's right there on the red line.
Yeah. Well,
but
I hate that stop.
Yes, but that there's an appeal there. People love doing that.
Yeah.
The other cool thing with the Sphere is it is sort of like this 4D experience where people were talking about this in their seats, that there were moments in their seats, the seats would vibrate and shake. Really? There was a part where we're like,
because of bass or because
they're built-in speakers and built-in vibration and whatnot to go along with the show.
Okay.
There was a scene where we're in like the rainforest and they like sprayed like mist on us or something. The air went down a little bit.
Oh, do they have like aromatics?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so it is just like Soarin'.
It is just like Soarin'. but bigger and awesomer. The stage is kind of small. People.
Yeah, I seen pictures of that, and it is, especially you took like a picture from like the 300 or 400s, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the stage is like a square.
If you're up there, you're not watching the band.
No,
you're
yeah.
enjoying the show.
Yeah.
They do project the band up there as part of like the imagery and whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was as good as just the normal imagery. It seemed a little grainy on the edges to me.
Interesting. Oh, but maybe because it's live and like the...
Maybe. In my opinion, anyway, it didn't feel as good as just if they weren't up there and it was other things going on. Night 3, we did sort of stick together most of the night, but we went over on one of we went over to far stage right and kind of danced around. There's a lot more room to move around in there, and it was a blast. I had so much fun.
It's a blast.
It was a blast. I had
I'm just
such a
joking.
great fucking time.
I'm glad you had fun, and I'm glad you got to experience it. I want to experience this someday. This was not the show for me.
No,
I would have been bored and been like, no, I'm not doing this.
no, you think so? Even with all the visuals and everything?
Yeah.
That's too bad. If I can go back and change things, we talked a little bit about this, Jim and I. We would fly in Wednesday before the show instead of that Thursday.
Yeah.
Gives you more time to explore the city, more time to do some things.
Then you have to add on to your hotel.
You do have to add on, yeah.
Hotel package wasn't for that.
Exactly. It only came in Thursday. Plus, I would have felt better going in Wednesday. I like to fly in the day before we do stuff like this anyway, in case there's issues with the flight. Again, we had a delay for a quick thunderstorm that rolled through that morning, and that just caused like an hour delay. And we got there with plenty of time. But if there's a mechanical issue as well on the flight, then we're kind of fucked probably.
Or your flight gets canceled?
Yeah, exactly. So I would have definitely given us an extra day next time around. Leaving Monday after was nice. I liked that. I liked having the Sunday after to sort of recuperate a little bit, explore the city a little bit. We did sort of go up the strip, but we went up like 4 hotels and then got turned around and came out the door heading the direction back toward the hotel.
So you're
and we're like, fuck it, let's just go.
You guys went to downtown.
We didn't go to Fulton Street. Fulton Street. What the fuck's that place called? Starts with an F, right? Fremont Street. Yeah, Fulton's here in Chicago. Fremont Street, which has the overhead lights and everything. Jim brought up they did do some after show stuff. We went to Shakedown Street too, which is sort of like their outdoor market they typically have of like a flea market, but all dead related type shit.
Okay.
That was at the Tuscany Hotel, which is also where the after shows were. Tribute bands to the Dead and everything. So they did like a whole city takeover, right? Like Metallica's doing now as well. And Jim's like, that would have been really sweet if they brought that here to Fremont Street and used the visuals above just to sort of like continue the show after the show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, holy fuck, that's actually a really good idea. That would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But that does stop, I think, at like midnight. They turn that off, which is weird.
I don't know, because I remember being there in 2016, I think. 2013? Yeah, 2013. And I felt like it was on.
I can't remember, honestly.
I can't remember either. But back then, I probably went to bed at like 8 o'clock. So
exactly. So that was like midnight.
Yeah.
Or like 2 a.m. for you.
Could have been 10 their time. And I was just like, oh, I'm so tired.
Yep. But that would have been really cool. We did go down there, listen to some music, and just sort of check that section of town out as well. But again, I liked that. I did like flying out Monday, so I wouldn't change that about it. I'm torn on tickets because a lot of people we talked to who were there for multiple shows. There were a handful that were like us, all had GA only, and there were a handful that bounced around. They're like, yeah, I was in the 200s last night. I'm on the floor tonight. I'm going to be up in the 400s tomorrow night.
That makes sense if you had all 3 days. Like I don't know if the package worked that way or not, but like that would have been pretty cool to be able to do.
So it didn't. The package was you buy one section. That's what you get. I wish they sort of had a package that you get one GA ticket and then 2 random other sections. You're not going to get the same section twice, but you're going to get 2 random other ones.
Not 100 section.
You'd probably get one of them would be the 100 in that back that nobody wants to buy anyway. But that's one night, right? That you're going to see that. It's going to be a different experience. But then at least you have the 2 other nights as well.
Yeah.
I wish they offered that as a package. That way you got that whole bouncing around. But then a part of me is also like, but I don't. I want to be on the floor. I want to do the GA only. Like if Metallica was there, I would want to be on the floor all 3 nights. I think. I don't think I'd want to be in the seats.
Money wise, we'd probably be in the seats.
Maybe
we'd be in that 100 section that nobody buys.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's.
I know what you mean. I'm just thinking.
I'm torn on what I'd want to do.
Yeah.
I think the thing that helped with Dead, and we didn't touch on this, but getting the tickets was a fucking disaster. Buying tickets for this thing, I had them in the cart. I had the tickets for the 2 of us. Selected the hotel, hit checkout, and it just sat there and spun to like take me to the checkout.
I remember that. And then I tried even too.
And then I went back and I did it on my phone. I did it on my work computer. I was doing it on as many fucking devices as I could to try to get in here. And like, it got me to that page and I had fucking like, let's go. Messaged him like, I'm not getting in. I don't know what the fuck's going on. He gets in like right away and gets checked out like right away. It's like, what in the fuck is happening? Like, it was a whole fucking fiasco.
Yeah.
It was a shit show from the start. And then you saw like a week later, we have plenty of tickets left. We haven't sold out anything. If you want to buy tickets, we have everything left to buy, including hotel packages. And it's like, what in the fuck is going on here? Like, it was a disaster. So I think those people who were bouncing around probably just waited. And then, oh shit, you still have shit? All right, I'll buy one here. I'll buy one here.
Well, and you could make it a lot cheaper by buying individual tickets.
Yep.
And then staying at one of the cheap hotels.
Exactly, because there's cheaper hotels out there. It's a quick taxi from that hotel to the Venetian. You can still walk in to do all that shit. So if I could do it again, I would probably go that route. Even if I bought all GA, I probably wouldn't do the hotel package. I don't think that price we paid wasn't worth it.
Now for your hotel room, if you guys had 4 or 6 people in that room, that would have been well worth it.
That room was fucking massive.
Yeah.
It really was. It might be larger than our place that we live in right now. Like, it's so fucking large.
Yeah.
And the hotel was really, really nice. I wouldn't do that again. I would buy individual tickets and rent somewhere else or get a hotel somewhere else. But that's what I would change about this particular show. And again, as we said with the beginning of the podcast, we're a podcast about all things music, well, the things we care about, which is primarily metal music and live music. And while this has been live music, it hasn't been metal music. Thinking about the Sphere and metal, I would love to see a metal show here. So fucking bad. The thing I'm getting hung up on is everybody that's at the Sphere, everybody that's doing these shows is, doing residencies. I think the Eagles are next, and they're there for like a month and a half or something, which might be the shortest residency. Maybe Fish before this was.
Oh, they're going September to November, so yeah, a month and a half, I guess. Yeah.
Dead's there from June to August, so like another 2 months or something.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but the point is, it's expensive to put these shows together with all the visuals and everything. So, what band can draw in the crowd to sell out weekend after weekend after weekend at one location, one venue? And for metal, I don't think there's that many out there that can do it. Metallica comes to mind, and it would be an awesome show there. Tool,
yeah, but not over and over. Yeah, Tool and Metallica, but not over and over and over. I don't think. Or not. I'm saying those two possibly could. I'm saying other bands, I don't know of one that could do 3 to 6 weekends and sell out multiple shows.
Yeah, just came to me, Linkin Park. If they come back with a new singer and their first shows back are
there. Yeah, possibly.
2 months at the Sphere, a month and a half at the Sphere.
Possibly.
Ghost would be a fucking awesome show here.
Oh, Ghost. I didn't even think about Ghost being there. But then again, I don't see that as a 6-week show.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't see it as a 6-week show.
But maybe, like, if you do 6 Saturdays, like, maybe not do a 3-day show, or,
I think you do 2, like a Friday, Saturday type thing.
Possibly.
But, like, that would be a blast, I think, to do.
Yeah, their imagery would be really cool.
Exactly.
Mastodon would be cool. They wouldn't be able to sell.
I don't think they'd sell out. Yep.
I'm saying 6 weeks, but, like, it'd be cool to do 1.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking of, every sort of act they've had there has sort of been this elongated set, like an extra long set where you get like an intermission. I'm assuming U2 had an intermission, but I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think they've had openers. So how do you do openers in this, or do you not do openers? So you have to have a headlining act do this, because then if you don't do openers, you can have like Metallica with Mastodon as like one of the openers. So you get this weird sort of, you can get that Mastodon feel with Metallica helping to sell it out. So you get a bunch of other bands to roll through. And
I mean, to me, it would be, the stage is totally different, but I'm just thinking like the Metallica M72 tour where like Metallica uses the stage phenomenally. And then you have Mammoth who stands on one corner of the stage and you can't see it if you're on the other side. So this is totally different because the stage is the same, but I'm meaning like the venue, like the opening act maybe doesn't use it to its full potential. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Okay, so maybe the visuals don't necessarily go 360 over, but like the Dead thing where it opened up, it could open up just a little bit, and then you have just this one straight up and down sort of either
like it's black on the sides, kind of like a curtain, like black on the sides, and then you have like a square of imagery for the opening band, but then when like Metallica comes out or whoever comes out, it's the full effect.
There was a part in the Dead show where they did have a curtain kind of go across and didn't go over the entire thing, which was actually, it had texture to it and felt like you could go out and grab that curtain. So yeah, I see what you're saying, and then that could just like as the next opener comes, it opens a little bit more, and then as the headliner comes out, it just fully opens type thing. Yeah. Okay, that could be cool.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of how to get more bands in there.
I think this technology is fucking awesome. I think this venue is fucking awesome. If you can go check it out, definitely check it out. But at the same time, is it my favorite venue? Yes and no. Like I think I love this venue so much with the visuals and all of that. But at the same time, I kind of just want to go to a small stage like Reggie's or some shit and see a smaller band there, or even a large, like when Metallica played the Metro a few years back. We didn't go to that, but that would have been so fucking sweet to see a band like that play there. You know?
Oh no, I think I'm over stadium shows. I think I've said that before on the podcast.
Yeah,
I think this would be similar to a stadium show where
it is, but it has that like new effect, that new sort of
I
vibe
guess
to it.
The uniqueness of the abilities of what they can do there is so different than like any other arena or stadium show. So I guess it is a little bit different.
Yeah, it's so unique, so different. But I know what you're saying. Like it, because of the uniqueness, it basically just takes those type of shows and makes them better. Yeah, essentially.
Correct. Yeah.
And also like you don't need the exterior lights to make this work. You can do this in just like an enclosed box, essentially, right? Like you can do it smaller, you can do it larger. I don't know. Like this type of technology could be ported and used elsewhere, and it's just going to get cheaper over time as the technology improves, as the techniques improve to develop these sort of visuals that go along with it. I really want to see a metal show there. I think it's going to be Metallica, if anybody, but I did think of Linkin Park, and I could see them coming back and being like,
we're going to do it here.
Our first show's back, or this with our new singer.
Maybe.
But yeah, the Sphere's fucking awesome. If you can go check it out, definitely worth it. But you're there for the music. You're not necessarily there for the visuals, which you are there for the Sphere for the visuals, but you're primarily there for the music. And as I was saying, there's plenty of music out there, plenty of venues out there that are not as good in terms of like this technology, but are just as fun to go to. So whatever you're going to do, just go check out live music wherever it is, because you can fucking find it everywhere.
Bye.